the van, and we have a U-joint that has gone bad, and as I went under and checked it out, each U-joint, you got a front and a rear. On this one, some of these vans have a two-piece drive shaft, so let me show you the difference under here. Alright, now when they ask you at the parts place if it's got a two-piece drive shaft or a single piece, okay, as you see, that's the front right there, and then it goes all the way to the back right there. Okay, this is a one piece. Now if it was a two piece, right about right here, you would see a pillar bearing come down, and then so you'd have that's a two-piece shaft. You would absolutely be able to tell the difference. So we're gonna pull this one out and get it set up on the vise so we can pop out the bad U-joints, and I'll show you how to do it. This is something in the how-to series that you can definitely do at home. You don't have to take it to a shop. Just with some simple tools, it's easy to do. Let me show you how to do it. Hey, on a real quick note, make sure you chalk both your tires, especially we're on incline here, so that way you don't get run over as soon as you take the truck out of park. That way you can spin everything, or when you unbolt the drive shaft, it doesn't try to roll over you. Make sure you chalk. I chalked both sides. We got a brick on that side and we got a brick on this side right here, so just make sure you're chalked before you take it apart. Okay, when you pull the drive shaft out, make sure you get a little catch can underneath there. On the back of the Ford transmissions, it's when you pull out the drive shaft, you can lose a little bit of transmission fluid, especially if you're on an angle like this. So just be ready for it so you don't make a mess. On the Fords, the rear end, it's a 12 millimeter 12 point that goes on the back. I usually grab another wrench and flip it around so it makes two to give me a little extra leverage. Sometimes you can just socket in. I like the wrenches myself, but anyways, now that that's out, let me show you how to get it apart. Okay, on these Fords, these are external clips. Some U-joints, you'll have a clip down here which you just have to tap out. There's a slot in for the clip, and you just tap it out. On these right here, I take a pair of channel locks, squeeze them together. I take a small screwdriver right here, and sometimes you just get it right underneath that clip, pop up, and then it's out. The other thing you're going to need is a little socket right here, so once it's out you can tap it down and push it into the next spot. Now sometimes if you can't get this loose, alright, here's a little trick. Take a punch right here and hit it a couple times. I mean, don't try to kill it to where you're going to punch it through it, but just what it is, this right here could be pushed up all the way up against your clip, and it won't let you get it out. So what you want to do is just tap this 1 or 2 times and go at it and see if that helps out, and that should take care of it. Let me get all the clips out, get all apart, and I'll show you how to put it back together. I also use the same sockets for putting it back together, and I use a vise, and I just simply tighten the vise and it slides them right into place. Put the clips in there and good to go. Now I just wanted to shoot this and show you. I used the socket like I was saying right here. First section's out right here, and then what you do is when you just keep going to the next one, just keep working them off. We'll do this one next. You can take a pair of channel locks on this right here, and 9 times out of 10, if not channel locks, you can use vice grips, and you can literally take, hard to shoot and film at the same time, but you just pretty much wiggle that out just like that. Oh, sorry, let me show you again. All I did was I wiggled it out like this. Once you just pop that out right there, that gives you room to move around, and boom, voila, off. Okay, next step is got to do these guys right here the same way, and putting it back together, we use the same sockets, press it back into place. See, you can do this at home. Alright, it's out, so you should end up with a piece looking like this with nothing in it. You should end up with a U-joint looking like that, where I pulled off the 2 caps so I can get it out. So the next step is we're going to put it back together. I'm going to do this side first, even though I'm replacing both U-joints. I went with brute force. I've had pretty good luck with those. So I'm going to switch these out. we're going to go ahead and do just one for right now, just to show you how it's done, pretty much how to get it all set up together, what to look for, what to watch for. I'm running out of daylight, so I'm going to go ahead and get just one side done so I can finish this how-to video. There's a little roller bearings in there. You have to make sure you don't get them in like, if you drop a cap, your roller bearing can fall out. Let me show you what a roller bearing is. We'll take one of these old ones. Alright, and here, actually you can see them right there. Those are roller bearings. And if you drop your cap, as you see, the roller bearings fell in the bottom. If they fall out like that, that's your roller bearing. You've got to put them back in there, put your finger back in there, put a little bit of grease in there, and make sure that they're all done. I've dropped a cap before, knocked all my roller bearings out. Sucks, but just got to put it all back together. It's no big deal. It won't hurt nothing as long as you don't have any dirt in it and everything. And if you do have dirt, then you got to do brake cleaner, clean it up, and put it back together, fresh, brand new grease. No big deal. Anyways, let me get the other one back together. Let me show you how to do it. We're going to press it all together with the vise. Use a couple sockets. Get this thing together, and that way you'll know how to do your universal joint. Just because this is on a Ford truck, it's pretty much universal. If you got a GM, you got a Chevy, you got a Chrysler, any truck out there, they'll all do the same thing. So, alright, look, alright, now this is putting back together type. I pulled two caps off the universal right there, sat them right there. All you're going to do is put one right here, one right there, slide your universal on this in the inside like this, so that they're put like that. Then all you're going to do is simply align up your caps and then start tightening down on the vise. Now remember, I told you you're going to need a couple more sockets, which I have right here. Okay, and what they're going to do, as soon as you get it, those two caps to go in, you're going to put a socket on one side, a socket on the other, realign, and push in. You're going to tighten up until you can get and see the grooves where you're going to put the pins. So let me go ahead and get this aligned up and first part of it set up so I can show you. Alright guys, as you see, all I did was I took the vise. Once I lined them up, I went ahead and tightened it up. They pretty much go into place. Now the next step is I will take, and I can start with one side. You don't have to have a vise. You can do this with a hammer and just tap away. It goes in pretty good. You just gotta be careful you don't knock out the needle bearings. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other side. I'm gonna tap this in, get the pins in, and I'll show you what it looks like on finished product. This is something you can do. It's very, very easy if you have some mechanical ability. So all I did was use the vise, pushed them in. My new brute force U-joint is on its way in. We'll get the other half of the drive shaft bolted to it, and then I'll come back to you. Alright guys, now we ran into dark, but as you see, it's together, the clips are in it. So this is how to do your drive shaft. Now if you have to use a hammer and tap them in a bind on the side of the road, you can do that. I've done it many a times. So this is, I just happen to have a vise, so I did it the easy way this time. All the pins are in place, no more play. It's nice and tight. It'll loosen up as it goes in there. Just make sure you don't have anything binding or grinding, because sometimes I've had, and I've done it myself, I've had a roller bearing fall down, and then when you go to put it together, you can't move it at all. It won't go into place. That's because a roller bearing has fallen down. You got to start all over again. But this one's tight, nice and ready to go. So we're going to go and change out the other side, put it in. But this will conclude how to change out your U-joint. That's a brand new brute force put in here. And I mean, it's pretty much, didn't take but 30 minutes. So here you go, how to do your U-joint.